Don't lose a finger. Welcome back to the channel. We're gonna start back up on this bad boy, but look all who's here.
We're not helping though.
They just came by to inspect. Give the thumbs up, thumbs down, and yeah, let's get started.
There have been a couple comments on my videos that I needed to come and check this out because they didn't think Colt was doing it right. And we just inspected the whole thing and it looks like he's doing it right.
Looks perfect to me.
It's a new day in the shop. Obviously, Matt and everybody had to take off because, you know, they're as busy as we are. You never get 5 minutes to hang out. We totally got the thumbs up of approval, and there's some things that I want to do that I went over with Matt, and he's totally on board with. Let's get started. You guys remember this thing? So we got the hood kind of set where I want it, but I think we need to bring it in because I don't think we're gonna run 40-inch tires. Obviously it's gonna be more inset. And then if you flex up in here, we don't really wanna smash up into the hood. So we need to dove nose this hood. Now, one of the things I am a little bit concerned about is how much Bondo we're gonna find in here when I start cutting. There is definitely a crack split here, already starting to show some rust. Not uncommon. I have one Samurai hood that's in good shape. Most Samurai hoods are not. So that's not unexpected to find something like that, but we do want to get this in, and you can't weld the Bondo. So a lot of people think when you just dove nose a hood that all you got to do is cut a pie out, push it in, and weld it together, and that's really not true at all, because what happens is these hoods are tapered out on almost every vehicle. So when you cut it, and if you're just to push it in, now this bend is going to be back in here. So what I am going to have to do here is I'm going to have to cut a line this way, and when we cut this up and pie this out, I can fold this in and hopefully stretch this out to catch this in without losing our straight line here. The other reason why I wanted to get this hood on, not only to figure out where it's going to fall to these tires and flex, but also just to guarantee where it's going to be here, because we're going to have to do a tube that supports all of this hood. Gonna be rad. Now there's a bunch of different ways to skin a cat.
Huh?
But one of the easiest ways I found to get a straight line of where I want to cut is just by using some good old painter's tape. So this might look a little weird, but this hood bows in. So it's not just a straight line like you'd think by the eyeball. It comes in almost like a football. So if I cut this right here, that's gonna leave this much, and it's gonna change in width as it comes in. But this gives us a straight line to fold this in if we cut this at a straight line. And then we're gonna cut it here, and that's gonna give me whatever I need to walk out as we're coming in. Hope that makes sense. If not, watch and learn.
I think you've been hanging out with Indiana Jones. You got cobwebs all over.
Oh. Tell you what, I've been using these for quite a while now, and they work pretty good. They're probably all made in the same factory anyway. I don't know. All these other battery-powered companies better look out, because Harbor Freight's looking pretty legit. It's a pizza pie. Yeah, that's like ½ inch thick. It's gonna be some work, some work. When Matt went and picked this up, it had a black paint job, and you can see here that there's still some of that black in there. So I think they tricked Robbie with a lot of this stuff. You can see a ton of body work done in here. All these little notches where they tried to pull the panel out. So I think when they just quick sanded it and painted it, they didn't realize there was a lot of Bondo in there. There's a support plate in here. This side only had just this tiny little bit. This side had this huge chunk that I just popped out, and I want you to look underneath here. This is like factory spray. So that's how messed up this side was, possibly even from the factory, but that is crazy. Look at how thick that is.
Brother,
Which isn't kind of a shocker, because let's face it, these Suzuki Samurais were cheaper off the lot than they sell for now in worse condition. Just as I suspected, this thing's got an undercoat on it. I doubt Robbie even knew that there was this much fake Bondo stuff going on over here. Kind of a bummer, because that's gonna make it really hard to do this pie cut to get this back together, knowing that I'm gonna have to fill it in with that massive dent in it and try to refine it. But we will get it. And what we don't get, I know Robbie will fix. That's a lot of Bondo in the inside. Yeah, I doubt they were aware of that. Look at that. That's the inside with the factory coating on it. Got it. Taste of Bondo. That is a lot of Bondo I'm gonna have to clean out. But I wanna show you guys exactly what I was talking about here. Look at this. That is a big difference once you get that set in. But don't worry, we got a plan. I was hoping this is going to be a lot closer and I wouldn't have to cut this end off. On a lot of vehicles that I've dove-nosed the hood, I end up cutting the front end completely off, bringing it in, re-welding the front end, you know, with it being narrowed, and then filling in whatever I need to fill in. This case, we might still be in that same boat, but I'm going to go ahead and just trim that off. We'll slide that in, start tacking it up, other than I got to get all of this Bondo off. And that right there, my friends, is a buttload of Bondo. Hopefully it's just that one section and I can actually bend that metal back up. We will find out. Maybe I'll start with this side, see how it turns out. Yay. Oopsie. Got it. Look at all that junk in there. That is just lost body filler from a corner fill. Crazy. Not too bad. All right. Now when you're welding sheet metal, it can warp very, very easily and you can burn through it very easily. That is the exact reason why I tried to find an affordable multi-process welder that I did from Eastwood. And I believe I put 23 thousandths wire in it. And that way it's not gonna burn as hot. It's not gonna take as much to burn. And it should do a lot better on the body, which is what I used for the back of this thing. Once I got it kind of figured out, it was working a lot better. Hopefully I left it set up the way it was for that. So it should work good on this. That went pretty darn good. Woohoo! I likey.
Nice.
It's so much Bondo. Ugh, I'll have to figure out how to chip that out. It's gonna be a tough one to kind of mimic here. So that's where that should be. See how that looks. Oh, that's Bondo. Come on now. Is this whole corner Bondo? Ugh, this whole thing's just cracking on me. There we go. Ooh, well, guess that tells me exactly what we got going here. Man, oh man, that stinks. Well, let's just cut it and we'll figure it out. Dang it. Well, guess that's why that was there. That's a hood fill. Bummer. That definitely needs to go in. That's for sure. Make that work right. All right. Don't lose a finger. All right, that's better-ish. But we still have the problem of all this being just blown out. It's kind of a bummer. Have to make that. Yay for metal fabrication. Woo. Need to probably just trim that even just a little more. Man, I'm about to have to make a whole new chunk here because there ain't much metal left. That looks pretty darn good, honestly. Let's just clean it up, see if we can tack that and then fill in the differences. Ugh, bummer. You see that dark paint? That's well before Robbie. Robbie just kind of quick sanded it, they cleaned it up and painted it. So this was the person before them that did all this fantastic body filler work.
This is a big old frozen chunk of poopy.
We're gonna set it inside of it, 2 3/4 by 3 1/2. Should work pretty good. Well, it's time to dig out a tool I almost never use. Bam. Would you like some tea and crumpets? If you didn't get that, it's because English wheel, you know, English. Not too bad. So much body work, extra body work that I shouldn't have to do. We can get that lined up with that. Woo. Yeah, buddy. Getting there. Here's a piece of full Bondo corner. Maybe I should just glue that in. Like that. We'll be good. Ay. Now to the tool I use all the time. Try to do it without catching my thumb. Oh yeah. Yay for body work. Oh yeah. That don't work too bad, does it? Getting somewhere. Yeah. Now for the fun part, the old chrome dome. Could just use our body filled corner, stuff it back in there, or we can roll around some metal and see what we can make happen. I say we play with metal. Starting to get some shape. Alrighty. Yay for metal work. Think we got it. Yeah. Good job, guys. All right, now all I need to do for this side is get a couple little strips and I'll just put them in on the back end, and that so it won't blow through. And then we just got to slowly tack this thing together and just keep working up and down, being very cautious not to do too much at once so it doesn't warp the metal. Let's get going. Fill in the gaps. Fill in the gaps. We have our driver's side dove nose. Now I get to do the same to the passenger side, which I am super concerned about, because that is unweldable. We'll figure it out. Well, there's no way to get after it other than just get after it. Let's do this. Whew. That was a lot of work. In fact, I want you to see how much Bondo is still in here. When I started grinding, I mean, that's a buttload. Absolute insane amount. And then I had all these blowouts from where the metal had been thin, where they just beat on it and beat on it and beat on it. But you could tell how much deeper it is, because here's the yellow paint, Robbie's primer, and then the original paint. You can see the original black paint here that's way up, way above this Bondo line. Man, if I'd have known this hood was this bad, I'd have started with a different hood, but kind of committed now. Anyway, had to make all these pieces and tried to fill what I could. I probably should have just made a whole new corner. We got it anyway. This side looks pretty nice here. This side's flat, but with all this Bondo here, I'm not really sure what they got going on, so we'll figure it out. Tripping over everything. Time to weld the underneath. Oh man, that is just all Bondo. Look at this. That's just another chunk of Bondo here. That's all Bondo. Every bit of that. Burnt up Bondo. See, what a disappointment. What a disappointment. I think this was a totally different hood, because underneath the mats is maroon that they painted black. The underneath of this is actually green. You can see it right there. You can see a little bit there even. What do you guys want to bet whenever somebody wrecked this and this got pulled out and they realized that gets covered up with the fender, so then they just put the fenders, painted it black. They got a hood out of a junkyard or a wrecked one somewhere and thought that'd be good enough. Want to clean the underneath up, get some pieces welded in there, try to get a little bit of support on there. That way it's not going to move, it's not going to walk around. And I might like to just blow all this stuff out because it's like walking on talcum powder around here. That was a lot. Now, this side doesn't look very bad at all, and that's because there isn't a whole bunch of Bondo in here, so this really came out pretty darn smooth. This side's obviously a lot rougher, but we have a, well over ½ an inch of Bondo here, so, I tried to bring it up as much as I could. It's really up to Robbie how they want to do that. I mean, that's the height of where it should be. This is where it was Bondoed. He would know better what to do. I mean, at this point, you're kind of limited. At least it's welded together, fairly smooth. It's definitely straight. We have the same amount of gumption where it kicks down on each side. Might as well set it up there and see how it looks. All right, moment of truth. Good thing these hoods are light. Oh yeah, now that looks proper. Hot dog, boy. We got our hood on. It's nighttime. I'm gonna go clean up, go to bed. In the morning, I might blow all this dust out because I just keep sneezing. And I got my measurements for what we're gonna cut out on the plasma table first thing so we can keep this hood mounted how it's supposed to be. Welcome back to the new day. So last night before I left the shop, I measured out plates that I want to make for this cab. And I know you guys have seen me use this Eastwood plasma table, the VersaCut 4x4, tons of times. And as you can see here, it cuts plenty of 1/4 inch plate, but I have to slow it down. And they just came out with the VersaCut 60. So obviously if I can have 20 more amps of cutting power, I'm gonna get 20 more amps of cutting power. Bam. Now obviously I don't have to have 60 amps of cutting power, but if you're on a time crunch, if you want things to go faster, or if you haven't ordered one yet, I would just get the 60. And as always, I want to try to help you guys be able to do that. Use the code ColtBuilds10. So all my other codes are usually Colt Builds it. This is Colt Builds10 at Eastwood. You can get anything they got 10% off. It's actually not that much larger, but it's gonna work that much better, that's for sure. Bing. Well, it went through that like butter. Perfect. All right, so I got my pieces made here, and what I want to do is get them set into this spot because that's where our tube's gonna go. Got to hold this hood up somehow, right? Which means we got to do a little bit of trimming. Goodbye. Pull out the old Sharpay. Go. Yeah. Just need to do the same to that side, but we have a nice heavy-duty plate to work off of there. So I very simply just took a measurement of the hood going half and half, and that way I know what I want to do. I am going to use 1.5" tubing, and because it's really not structural, meaning it isn't going to be the outside of a rock smashing section to save a life. I always say if you're going to be rubbing against rocks, you want to use DOM. It just seems to not crush as easy. In this case, we are using H-Rue, which is seamed, and you can feel the electric seam right here. You can kind of see it run across. One of the things I like to do when I'm bending tubing, especially electric welded tubing, I want that seam on the inside of the bend. You don't want to have that seam on the outside. You want to keep it in this area. And a lot of that has to do with if it's a bad piece of tubing. And the only reason I say to do that is because I have seen seamed tubing split when it's bent on the outside. Maybe not on the first bend, but after it's been sitting for a while, sometimes you hit a rock and it'll split it right where it was welded. You can see here I went just a little bit past on my tubing bend, and that's because the tubing is going to have a little bit of spring back. So we want to see how much we get, and then we'll know if we need to do a little more. I'm going to make a temporary line here. Now we're perfect. Set this here temporarily. If you got to do two symmetrical bends, meaning two bends exactly the same, one of the nice things is marking your bender die. So I marked that right there, and that is in line with flush of that. That way I can just make the second bend and not have to hold that angle finder there. We'll match it perfectly. Ta-da! All right. That looks pretty darn good. We got our first tube in. Now, don't get too worried about my non-straight cut here because I got some plans later on here. What we do have is a nice, smooth body looking hood support. Yeah. Colty likey. Dang, that is a straight cut. I want you to see that. Oh, yeah, buddy. Alright. Yeah. All I did here was take a piece of 1.25 inches, smooth it down, and then I put a tiny little groove in it because you gotta remember this is H-Rue and not DOM, so there is that seam. The nice thing about bending both your tubes with the seam right in the center on the inside, that actually put it so it slides in and out really good. Now before we get that tight, we'll have to clamp it, but I just wanna get it set up over here so we can get this side tacked. Boy. Ooh, that is looking so good. Hot dog. When you seam tubing like this, you just take a couple pieces of angle iron and you can pinch it together, and that is gonna get each piece straight to the other one. There we go. And now we know that those pieces are true to each other.
Hi.
While I'm working on that, look what Shanna brought in. Look at that. Oh yeah. Now if you guys watched the last video that we did with the Unicorn Comanche, you saw that we put a new transfer case in it. This is gonna be probably your cheapest way to get gears. So we didn't lose any of our high range, any of our drivability, but yet we got more low range, which required a new drive shaft. So tomorrow we can put that in and take that thing out to use it. So if you haven't seen that video, check it out. I added a couple gussets and I have ratchet straps keeping everything still so nothing's gonna move. And I welded this and now I'm just sanding it. And we're gonna pull out the imperfections by sanding it this way. So you wanna go in with the tube. You don't wanna go side to side like that, because that's how you're gonna get divots. Once we get our fill pieces in, you can see we got a couple pieces here that we gotta just add a little more weld in. Once we get that close, we'll put our palm sander on it, clean it up. You'll never know that there's a sleeve in there. I mean, you'll know because you watched it, but nobody else will know. And just like that, it was never there. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, that is gonna give us all kinds of options here. So unfortunately, after many years and many cages, this tube notcher bent on me. So I'm gonna have to try to straighten it before I can notch any tubes. Perfect.
If I could patent and sell Colt's micrometer, I'd be a rich lady. See what I mean? Like a glove.
Now, some of you are probably just saying, Colt, you just welded from that to that to that, and now you're not going to be able to pull the body off. Well, if you commented on that, you just commented too soon, because I got plans. This is a tube clamp disconnect. You can get these at Barnes 4-Wheel Drive. You use a code Colt Builds It, you get 10% off. And they make them for different size tubes. In this case, these are made for 1.5 inches. I am going to put these in somewhere right here, with this side being on the top. That way, when you pick the body up, you can reset it right back here at this tube. We just gotta take a measurement and cut it out.
Did you know dogs can't operate MRI machines? But do you know who can?
Cats?
Yeah, cats can. Cats can. You caught it. Yay.
Might as well go back to using the big old death wheel, cut these tubes. Got it. Good cut, Colt. And just like that, we now have a tube clamp. If I do a support here down to the frame, all this will stay with the frame. You take these two screws out when you undo the body, and the body will still lift up. I think that's like a solid alignment bar now. Line up how it sits right there. Now, even though I cut both sides, I didn't cut the other side all the way through. I wanted to do one side at a time, and that way you're not taking any tension off the tubing. Potentially, if you were to cut both sides and try to do that, you might actually walk this tubing out without extra supports in. Sheboygan. All right. We got things with things and some things. Now I can go ahead and remove this tube, add a gusset, you know, other things. But that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned how to bob a samurai hood. At least Dub knows it. If you do, pick one with less Bondo.
Please make sure to like and subscribe.
Thanks for watching. See you next time.